name is Elmer Moore, and I am lucky enough to get to be the Executive Director and CEO for the Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority. We are so delighted that so many of you joined us today. If you were wondering, more than 600 people registered for this momentous occasion. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna keep it fast. We're gonna keep it energetic. We're gonna keep it so exciting because we are elated to be here with you, launching our newest product, the Infrastructure Access Loan. If you allow me to, I'm gonna take just a few moments to tell you about the IAL. I'm gonna tell you about some of the other exciting things that we wanna share with you today. The first thing to know is that last year, the Wisconsin State Legislature and Governor Evers signed into law the most historic, unparalleled investment in improving access to affordable housing that we have ever seen in this state. $525 million. I'll wait for the applause. That's right, $525 million to support the production of new, accessible, available housing units for people across the state of Wisconsin because we desperately need it. At WHEDA, we believe that everyone deserves a place to call home, and this is an important step for helping us to achieve that incredible vision. So the Infrastructure Access Loan, which is $275 million. Can I get an amen? It supports developers and the communities in which the developers are operating, financing in a very low interest product, the infrastructure that's so hard to pay for otherwise. We're talking roads, sidewalks, pipes, wires, and the important things that make where we live very much livable. In addition to the Infrastructure Access Loan, there's two other products that were a part of that bill, the Restore Main Street and the Vacancy to Vitality bills. Each of those products was launched late last year, and we're so excited that they were funded at the $100 million each level. Applause, please. And there's three sites they're going to enjoy the benefit of the Vacancy to Vitality program. Each site getting $1 million in support, helping to convert a formerly commercial property into what will be available, affordable housing. How amazing is that? Get so far into this. I want to meet some of you. I'd love to hear what makes you most excited about home. Write it in the chat. And using the magic of technology, I'm going to listen to the bits in the air and guess what your answers are. In fact, I want to hear from the folks in the room. What makes you excited about home?
My family.
Family, yes, thank you. What else?
Place to live.
A place to live. What else?
Stable.
Stability. Thank you so much for that answer. What else? Comfort. Thank you. Whoever wrote that in the chat. Safety. Physical safety, psychological safety, warmth. Oh, I love that. When we think about home, we think about the proverbial warm hearth and the fire. We think about a place where we feel comfortable, we feel loved, we feel like we're in a place where dreams come true. And for so many across our state, that challenge has been hard to access. Excuse me, getting there has been so hard. Familiarity. Oh, that's good. I got to tell you guys a little secret. I'm not the neatest person, but I know if anything in my house has changed when I walk in. So if my kids move even the orientation of a desk, of a pan on a desk, I can tell because I decked the whole place out in feng shui. Oh, of course, who could forget one of the most important things about home, not for me, but for so many people out there, is my dogs. I'm gonna extend that so that everyone can feel connected to it. I'm gonna include, even though I don't like them, cats. For some of you, that might be hamsters, gerbils, llamas, alpacas, cows, horses, and finally, because I'm ashamed that nobody else said it, your kids. What else makes people feel excited about home? It's, in fact, the anchor of civilization. I want you all to think about the history of mankind. That's such a great answer. The thing that makes us who we are today is we transition from not having stable, secure, unmoving places where we lived. We stopped being nomadic. We started to set up community. And in those communities, we set up homes. That's really when we turned such an important bend. It's important to remember too that home is technology. There was a time when we didn't go to the same place every day, and now we do, and that allows us to surround ourselves with loved ones and familiar things. What else do we love? We love the space to live freely. We love coming home after a hard day's work and putting on whatever we feel comfortable in, because home is where we're comfortable. If we want to put on our polar bear pajamas, we can do that. If we want to wear our old basketball shorts, we can do that. What else do we love about home? This is one that I particularly love. We love community. At WHEDA, we understand that there's a difference between just having shelter and having a home. And we are committed in every person that's a part of the WHEDA team, in every brick in this building. We are committed in expanding the opportunity for people to have a home so that they can feel welcome, they can feel comfortable, familiar, and they can feel, most importantly, like part of a community. So today, as we do this important work, we've got a lot of news to share, a lot of information. Please write your questions in the chat. Please get yourselves ready to learn, get yourselves ready to do profoundly important work as we make housing the most important priority of the hour, because we know that it already was. I'm excited to share with you a little bit of surprise news. As I mentioned before, at the end of last year, we launched the first two of that workforce bill package, the Vacancy to Vitality program, as well as the Restore Main Street program, at the end of December. And we have started issuing those awards already. Well, in the launch of the infrastructure access application, we are also reopening applications for those two programs. This is extremely exciting. It means if you have commercial properties that need potentially demolition or need work, Vacancy to Vitality could be a great opportunity for you. If you've got a main street with retail or commercial spaces on those first floors and available options for housing in second and third floors, the Restore Main Street product is for you. And if you are trying to build housing where there is none, infrastructure access could be a great opportunity for you. So let's start first with some introductions so you know who you're going to call when you want to do this important work. We're going to introduce you to our community and economic development team. I'm going to start on my left with Maria Watts, who barely needs what's the word? Introduction. Thank you so much, because she barely needs a last name. Everyone knows who Maria is. Maria, what is your territory?
I cover Waukesha County, Milwaukee County, Washington County, and Osaka County.
Thank you so much, Maria. Stay right there. Now I'm excited to bring in Jeff Town. Thank you so much, Jeff. Jeff, what is your territory?
I cover all of the southern counties of the state and Racine County.
Thank you so much. Only because it's going to get crowded. I'm going to escort you guys off.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you haven't already, yes. If you haven't already introduced yourselves to them, let us know and they'll make sure to introduce themselves to you. Next, we're going to go to my other side. I'm going to pass the mic over after I offer this introduction. We're going to meet two fabulous members of our team who are also in the room with us. Actually, before I do that, I want to send a big loving shout out to Rebecca Giroux, who is on this webcast with us. She's not in the space. We want to say hi to Rebecca. Rebecca, can you say hello?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. What is your territory?
I cover the central southwest portion of the state, 19 counties.
Thank you so much. I want to also make mention of some folks who are part of the CED team. We've got Erica, we've Erica Steele, we've got Rowan, we've got Jesse, who are not available to come on camera right now, but we want to make sure that we mention them because they are an extraordinary resource for all the important work that we are trying to do. And before I bring on Mai and John, I'm going to go off script for a quick second, and I want to almost introduce you to, from my perspective, some of the most important people in our state. The people that do the incredible hard work of making WHEDA's resources meet the ground in the form of expanding access to affordable housing. So on the count of three, I'm going to ask all the people in the room with me who are part of the WHEDA family to just make noise. Are you ready? That was a practice. You guys didn't, you failed miserably. I want you to be loud. Ready? Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, on the count of three, everybody say hello. 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Thank you. If you've never met WHEDA folks, that's too bad for you because this really is one of the best teams in the state, if not the country, but I'll talk about that later. So next up, I'm going to pass the mic to John Searles and Mai Zhang. They're going to introduce themselves and talk a little bit more about this process. Thank you.
It truly is very difficult to follow Helmut. One of these days, I hope to introduce him and let him do the talking. But Mai and I cover different parts of the state and have been also actively involved, along with all of my colleagues, to increase understanding of these tremendous new resources that we have across the state. So I'm John Searles. I cover the northeast part of Wisconsin. And Mai Zhang here covers the northwestern part of the state. And what we're going to talk to you about today is a little bit further in depth on the infrastructure access loan program. I think what's really unique about this one is both a municipality and a developer can apply to support a housing development together in a community. So it's very cool. And as Amr was outlining, it's a very significant funding pot at $275 million. And so we hope to see a really robust participation from people across the state. So mine are going to explain a little bit about how this works. So let's start with what you can actually fund under the program. So you can install new, replace, upgrade, or improve a broad range of public infrastructure tools. As long as it is eventually transferred to public use. And of course, it needs to support housing, right? Those are the kind of baseline criteria. And then, of course, what you can actually fund through the program are things like water systems, water distribution, sewer systems, stormwater systems, retention ponds, and then also above surface items like streets, roads, curbs, lights, electric and gas distribution systems. So a full list of what qualifies is included in your packet. It's also on the term sheets and on our website. So with that, I am going to take a little bit time to define what we're referring to when we talk about workforce and senior housing here in the state. Workforce housing is simply housing that is affordable for renters earning up to 100% of county median income. This product can also serve homeowners. And so for homeowners, we can serve up to 140% of county median income. So it's truly designed to serve working families, seniors, missing middle folks. When we're talking about senior housing in Wisconsin, we have a really broad definition here. Just one person in the home needs to be age 55. It's just that simple. So let's now turn it over to Mai, who is going to talk to us a little bit about what some of the terms are for the program.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Mai Zhang.
And I wish I could be like Maria, who I can list all of you guys from my region. I cover the Northwest region, which is 21 counties of you. So if you are on here, welcome. I'm excited you're able to join us. I will try to remember each and every one of you, the 21 counties, but I'm excited. I get to talk about the most important and the most fun part, right? The terms and the interests. So with that, we're really excited that this loan, the infrastructure access loan, the developers, you are able to receive the lesser of the total infrastructure cost or 20% of the total development cost of the homes supported by the project. And for municipalities that are joining us today, those that do apply, municipalities or governmental units, you are eligible to receive the lesser of the public infrastructure cost or 10% of the total development cost of the home supported by the project. And right here, we have some terms here. Generally, the loan, the infrastructure access loan is 3%. And it is only 1% for small communities under 10,000 and 1% for senior housing projects that could receive that. So that's incredible rates. I'm excited for that. So next, we will go over a couple of projects in several different communities. And so I'll pass it over to John, and John will go over the first example for us.
Great, thank you so much, Mai. So in our first example, we're going to focus on a small subdivision, single-family homes that are detached in a rural community. So in our example, the infrastructure cost to install streets is $3 million. The total development cost is $26 million, and what's included in that amount is $3 million for the infrastructure cost and $500,000 for land. So given the math that Mai just shared with us, 20% of the housing portion of the total development cost is $4.6 million. The developer would actually apply in this scenario for $3 million because that would cover the entire infrastructure cost. There'd be no need for a municipality to apply for additional funds. So I think what's key here is that awards can go up to, but not exceed the infrastructure costs in all cases. So now Mai is going to share a couple of other project examples in 2 different communities.
Awesome, thank you, John. All right, so the first example that I will be sharing here is a project in an urban community. And this project is a new construction housing development in a revitalizing neighborhood, which needs replacement of a new storm sewer system. Again, the project total infrastructure, the new system does cost $4 million, and the total development cost is $20 million. The land is excluded because it was donated by the municipality. And the developers can apply for this particular project up to $3.2 million, which is 20% of the housing portion of the total development cost. In addition, because it doesn't meet the total development, because it doesn't meet the total infrastructure cost, the governmental unit can submit an additional application for approximately $800,000. Of course, that is negotiable. That has to be negotiated between the developer and the municipality. And that's why I say approximately. And let's say the developer and the municipality did agree on having the municipality apply for the $800,000, and it does receive the award. The combined application would total $4 million, meeting the infrastructure need. Right, and our next, the next project example is now in a smaller community. And the need for the application that is $4 million for the infrastructure cost. This is a large middle income condo that needs curbs, gutter, sidewalks, and street lights. The total development cost is $22 million. It does include a $500,000 for the land purchase. And with that, the developers, again, in this project can apply up to $3.6 million which is lesser than the infrastructure cost, and 20% of the housing portion of the total development cost. The governmental, in this particular scenario, government unit could apply up to 400,000. Again, that's negotiable upon the developer and the municipality. Something to keep in note is that the government unit just cannot include the cost of land in their total development cost calculation, but the developer can. So that's a slight difference there for you to keep in mind. Otherwise, as long as the total loan application doesn't exceed the infrastructure cost, then we are good with that. So next, I will share with you the set aside. WHEDA is committed to our smaller communities, senior housing. And so there we do under this loan fund have 30% of the funds that are set aside for small communities. And 25% of the total funds are set aside for senior housing projects. And so with that, we're really excited. I'm excited about this project for Northwest and for the rest of Wisconsin. And now I'll turn over to John.
Great, thank you. So one other thing that we quickly wanted to cover with you is the application process. It's a little bit different from other processes you may have encountered before. So, we truly envision these projects to be successful when the municipality and the developer work really closely together. So we anticipate as a first step that the developer would select the site, of course, but kind of taking into account what the governmental unit considers a priority site for development. And then the two of them will kind of focus on what are the infrastructure needs. And I think what's really cool about IAL is you can actually stack them. So if you're in a community that needs streets, water systems, lighting, you can combine that all into one application that would benefit the development. Third, the municipality and the developer will likely work together on the initial application. In particular, there's a cost reduction analysis where the developer may just need some additional information from the city on steps that they've taken to reduce the cost of housing since January 1st of 2023. And then we offer some latitude within the applications and in terms of how you show your map. There will be a field for that, but that's another example of collaboration between the two. So we anticipate the developer to apply first. Municipalities can also apply either concurrently or they may apply in subsequent funding rounds to support the same project. Then the municipality can apply, again, if for our project examples, if additional funding is needed that's not met by the developer application. And then what will happen within WHEDA internally, we will go through all of the applications, check against the documents that we're seeking. The one thing that we've been kind of stressing for folks is this is a much more streamlined and straightforward application. Really think about it as a checklist versus a more complicated workbook that you may have to fill out. So we're just looking through the applications to see if the boxes are checked. So really at the time of application, if you're able to check those boxes before you submit, you'll know your chances are pretty good. And then we repeat the process. So we will be doing this semi-annually for all of our products, with the first three that Elmer outlined all due on April 30th this year. So with that, we are going to actually open it up for questions. Couple of instructions in terms of sending them in. Just simply use the chat function in Teams or Zoom, pardon me. Just use the chat function in Zoom to send them in, and they will get to me. So with that, we've already received a few questions. So I have a project that I want to submit in the first application round. What do I do? Okay, so we want to go to WHEDA.com. On WHEDA.com, we have all of the latest term sheets and award plans. There are separate award plans and term sheets for developers and municipalities, so just make sure you're referencing the right ones. Starting next week, we will actually have sample applications up on the website for you to take a look at. And then the other thing that's really important when engaging with us in the application process, for those of us who are not familiar with it, is to submit a Proquorum Work Center request. And Proquorum is just an interface between us that will provide you with the application. You do want to submit a Proquorum request for each loan application that you're submitting into WHEDA. So great question. All right, so we got a question in about TIF. This is a really common question that we've been getting across the state. So we are beyond thrilled to manage these programs on behalf of the state. We do have to work with what's in statute. So with regard to TIF, if a project is benefiting from a TIF at the time of application, it is not eligible. However, a project can be located in a TIF district. Just at the time of application, it cannot be receiving a financial benefit. Loan terms, okay. So in each case, loan term will follow, and amortization will follow the senior debt. So these are all subordinate debt products. And what we will do is take a look at the underwriting from the senior lender, and the terms and the amortization will follow that underwriting in each case. Is land included as an eligible infrastructure use by a developer? It is not. In the application process, what you have to take a look at is it's a little bit different, right? So land is included when you're taking a look at all of the total infrastructure costs. If you're a developer, yes. If you're a municipality, no. So in those project examples that Maya and I ran through, that's where we were kind of like calling out the specific cost of land. Let's see, other questions. Does a project need to have all financing lined up at the time of application? The answer is yes, and there's a little bit of a nuance there. We want the primary loan to be lined up, but not yet closed, because we will partner with the senior lender and work all of that out so that closing happens in tandem. Just gonna pause here for a moment to see if there are any other questions. Okay, here's one that we received. What is the period after the loan award that the developer must complete the project? So the closing of the loan must happen within 180 days. Generally, projects should be completed within 2 years after closing. However, again, we'll work with the senior lender as needed to ensure that our timeline is not hindering the deal. See, I think we have a couple more questions coming in. All right, we've got one more hot off the presses here. Literally, we're handwriting these, so thanks for your patience. Can WHEDA be the senior lender? Yes, we do provide multi-family debt. Okay, last one we got that just rolled in. Are there affordability requirements? Yes, and it differs. So for renters, the homes need to be reserved for renters earning up to 100% of county median income. That rent restriction is in place for 10 years. And then for homeowners, truly being a missing middle product, it's 140% of county median income. And again, those restrictions would be in place for 10 years. Great questions. Okay, given the set-asides, is the product available in all communities? Absolutely, yes. There are no restrictions. We are serving small communities of 10,000 people or fewer, rural, suburban, and urban. And in fact, we've been seeing a pipeline already starting to develop with projects in all kinds of communities, which has been awesome to see. Does committed financing sources include Federal Home Loan Bank, HP subsidy, and grants? Yes, absolutely. We would just be looking for documentation at the time of application showing that commitment. All right. Restate the 20% of housing costs regarding eligible infrastructure. Absolutely. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but the way that the sizing of the loan works is it's 20% of the housing portion of the total development costs. So when we're referring to infrastructure access, it's the pairing of both the infrastructure costs and the housing costs into the total development costs. But the loan is actually sized to the housing portion of it. So for a developer, it's 20% of the housing portion of the total development cost. For municipalities, it's 10% of the housing portion of the total development cost. Great question. And we're going to look for ways to clarify this on our website, but these are all awesome questions. Is WHEDA required to be in a second loan position in all cases? Actually, in that case, no, we are. If we're unsure about eligibility, should we apply or wait to apply? I love this question because I actually wanted to end with an invitation to engage with us and my colleagues across the state. We would love to talk to you about your project, understand what the advantages are, see what questions you have, any barriers you might be experiencing. We'd love to talk all of that through with you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any of my CED colleagues that you were just introduced to a few minutes ago. All right, we are wrapping up the question and answer portion. All of the actually that did come in today, we're actually going to include them in an FAQ on our website. So with that, I am going to actually turn it back over to Elmer, who is going to actually kick us off and make the product go live.
Wait a second. I got some news. I'm very excited to share. First off, I forgot to do something. For those of you that registered on time and by the deadline, you should have received a really lovely packet just like this that has WHEDA branding. And I want to mention some of the things that are inside of it, including a WHEDA notepad so that you can start writing those really heartfelt letters to the folks that get the benefit of new housing because of the great work you're doing. We included a highlighter so that you can identify all those parts of the application and the term sheets that you might have questions about, that you want to make sure that you contact John and the rest of the CED team to follow up on. Of course, the term sheets, and I want you to really study these. It's very important to mention, there was actually a recent amendment made to one of the term sheets. So this is not the most up-to-date, this is a work in progress. But if you go to our website, we can help you find the most up-to-date information. But this is a great starting point. There is a WHEDA pen. There is nothing in the world that writes better than a WHEDA pen. Talk about sitting comfortably in your warm, familiar home space. Here's the pen that you need. And very importantly, there's a magnet. And this magnet has a QR code. This QR code will take you directly to the FAQ page of our WHEDA website. That FAQ is constantly being updated with the questions that we received in our conversations, email exchanges, and so on. So go there first and see if someone else had the same question as you and get your question answered. But the exciting breaking news that I wanted to share is I sort of let a little bit of it slip, but I'm going to repeat it. Our first two products introduced, again, Vacancy to Vitality and Restore Main Street, are going to be available in this application cycle. That is huge news. So we got to see the incredible, we got to see some really great ideas come in through applications. We're starting to put that learning into action. So again, follow up with us, reach out, discover what communities are doing to make themselves more available, more accessible to developers to attract those new housing units that we are so excited to get to support. The second nuance to this news is we're going to do 2 application and, more importantly, 2 award cycles this year. We're launching one right now. Applications are due for all 3 programs by April 30th. And then again, this fall, we're going to do it all over again. Because if you all forgot, we've got $525 million put to work to advance housing across the state. So thank you so much for all that phenomenal information. John, you're going to stay up here with me for a minute because we've got to do something really important. Is it time? Do we get to do the thing? Are you ready? Okay, we've got the button. With the push of this button,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
we are so excited to tell you that applications are now open for the infrastructure access loan, vacancy to vitality, and restore Main Street. Thank you for the great work that you all are doing to support your community and advance housing across the state of Wisconsin. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great rest of your day.